Sup, y'all, Shawnee? We definitely gotta talk tonight about these last 10 games with the new players and what they had to tribute towards. If you come to this live stream, like, comment, share the live stream. Tell me what you guys think. But I'm gonna get to it right now. For the most part, we 10 games in with the new players, and the record told us is 4-6. Not bad, not bad. We only beat one team that was over 500 in that span, which was the Pacers, and it shows a few things, like they show all season. Injuries cause the injuries, and we've been affected by that all season long from the beginning of the season, not having a few players, Melo, Bridges being suspended due to his situation, and it just come on top of more injuries. But we just lost to the Toronto Raptors, 111 to 106. Um, there was some stretches that we played good, defensive wise, and there was a lot of stretches that we wasn't playing good defense. We was staggering on defense, missing assignments, and a few other things to say the least. But for us, we had some key players that did good today. Minus loss, Brandon Miller getting his first double double, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, which is a highlight in my shorts showing that one of his assists to Grant Williams. Go check it out. I can't say his first name. Vasser Michi, the foreign point guard, which he's pretty good his damn self. 12 points, 2 rebounds, 6 assists, and his first start for the Hornets. Then you got Miles Bridges being consistent with the points and rebound with 20 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists. And then you got Grant Williams starting for us, which he played pretty damn good, being in a center position because Nick Richards is out as well. So yeah, we've been around a lot of injury. Also, Kobe Martin is out as well. Grant Williams had 18 points, 13 rebounds, 5 assists. And the best to come off the bench today game because Steph Curry is injured with an ankle and everything like that. Um, Davis Bertram did pretty good for the most part. 14 points, 4 rebounds off the bench, 4 for 9 from the 3 point. I mean, we just gotta understand that's how the game's gonna look with him and everything like that. But what I gotta say for what I see with the new players, they are great pieces, you know, that helped us out of the slump that we was dealing with, on a bad losing streak, especially Terry Rozier. That was showing that the organization was going a different direction. I guess, it wasn't planning on signing in the future. And then when they made that big trade to trade PJ to get Grant Williams and Steph, it also showed that too that they ready to make a turn for the best. Excuse me. I ain't gonna lie to you, I was a little upset when he got rid of Terry Rozier, especially what he was doing. Most people say he overpassed Dude getting traded. I could have said that for Golden Hayward, which they eventually did trade him. But I'm gonna look at it like this with that situation. The trades would need to happen, regardless I like it or not. And it planned out to be pretty win-win situation for both parties that was trade. We did got key players that are basically on maybe one or two of them is on a rental, and they gotta show off their talent on that. So it could work both ways for us. Trey Mann and Davis Bergstrom coming from OKC, and then you got Grant and Steph coming from the Mavericks, and you got Meacham also coming from OKC. So it helps for both parties. Everybody can see talent and how everything goes. So I'm hoping we could keep most of those players. I know we're not gonna keep all of them, but I hope we keep most of the players and build from them to give us a better future for the most part. Because our bench was the worst thing in the season besides the injury. Injuries happens. That's just part of the sports, and that's the nature of the business and everything like that. But the injuries definitely did something to us, but the bench was even worse because even though most of our bench was like rookies and second, third-year players, that wasn't enough scoring power to come off the bench. Like to the point that PJ was rotating from the bench, becoming the sixth man. Which whatever position he did, he was actually good at it. I'm not going to front this. I feel like he was coming out his shell and showing that he can actually produce in this league and score with consistency for the most part as the power forward, small forward, whatever position he wanted to play, because he played like multiple positions. Even to the point he was playing center when Mark Williams was out and when Nick was hurt a little bit. So I just need to understand us as Hornets fan and people who are Hornet, channels and stuff like that. That this season's over. We know that it's been over for the last 2 months. And yes, this is a nice run, so we can prepare for next season. I just want to say, as a fan, a diehard fan that been a fan for a long time, definitely been around the block more than once with this team and everything like that. I think we have a bright future coming if they get the right pieces and make the right sign. Like, because you don't want to think like we need Miles Bridges back for next year. Um, we need him back because he's a interpoint to what we plan on doing in the future with Lamelo, him, Mark Williams. Grant's gonna be here because he was just got signed to a new deal. He's gonna stay. Most likely, Trey Man we might pick up his option because I want to see how he play alongside on Lamelo Ball. I really do want to see that. And I like David Beltram because he know his role and he's a veteran player. He play on quality teams and he can show what things need to done for the young players. And in the offseason, get like one or two veteran player and then pick a solid draft pick that's gonna build with us and his young core. 'Cause Brandon Miller is a stud. He's showing that why Paul George is his favorite player because that dude been playing similar games like him. The way he moved for his body frame, solid defender, great 3-pointer, learning how to score in different angles and different situations. Like earlier, I have one in my shorts. Go check that out. That he's doing a fadeaway three on two players. So he definitely um, shows that he have a lot of potential and a lot of growth to do. And him becoming more of a rebounder throughout the season. He's showing today. He had 26 and 10. He's first double double. He's actually showing that this guy could play within any type of environment and any type of situation. He don't complain. He come to work, do his job, do the best of his ability. And I could respect that for any young guy and his standards and everything like that. Especially when he was in college, he was getting into a lot of unnecessary situations, hanging out with the wrong crowd, things like that. So let's go to injuries before I go back to individuals for that. Corey Marley's out. Nick Richards was out tonight, and a few many. LaMelo's still out. Mark Williams still out, and that caused a lot of unnecessary players to play in roles they're not used to, but they had to get used to it because if you think about it, guys, it's always the next man up mentality. So the next man come up, they fill the role and everything, and that's where you could tell if somebody really here for what they need to do or here just to be there for the moment. I like Nick Richard. He made me a believer. Cause when he first came in, I just saw a skinny center. Nah, he ain't gonna do much. That at the last 2-3 years, put on body with mash, basically fulfill his role as what he's supposed to, either a starter or a backup. He's a quality center in this league. He showed that while Mark Williams been down, just playing his game, nothing more, nothing less, crashing ball, playing solid defender, being a solid defender, getting rebounds, passing an ability he could in his range. And him to get injured like that, I mean, we have a center on the bench, and we just signed one from another player from OKC, Alex Poco. I can't say his full last name. And I want to see how that goes. I want to see that project. I want to see what he could do. I saw highlights of how he do in OKC. I want to see what he could do. So now we could get something going with this team and the motion of how we could continue the rest of the season and see how things work for the most part. LaMelo and his ankle is always going to be an issue until he figured things out for him as a player. LaMelo, with his injury, is a nagging injury, especially the way he played, his style of play, the way he moved with finesse and swiftiness to his game. He got to get stronger. He got to get stronger with his leg. If he need to talk to one person that would tell him the same injury they was having the first 3 years of their career, Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry had the same problem. Nobody really talk about that. Stephen Curry had bad ankles for the first couple of seasons, first 3 seasons, if I'm not mistaken. Almost signed him out, and it was questioned if he was going to play. That's one reason why he wasn't ranked he wasn't considered so good coming out of the draft because they said his injuries. And I think LaMelo could take a page out of his book and just be more of a creator when it comes to passing and take a lot of more mid range shots, take a little more mid range, and continue shooting your threes because he got better as the years gone on. He was getting better at his threes and everything because he's going to chuck them. He's not afraid to chuck them. He's going to chuck them, and I like that about LaMelo. LaMelo ain't intimidating. He ain't nervous. He played his game the same way he was younger when I watch him with him and his brothers. So he's gonna bring the game no matter what. I will give him that. But I gotta say this with him. These are to him. These are meaningful games. I don't want to put words in his mouth. That's not what I'm trying to do. But I can understand where he's coming from. Because like, listen, if you're the star player, you're a franchise player. Why play games when you know it don't mean nothing for you? It's just a stack thing. I'd rather be 100%, better or 100% clear to play instead of just going out there and getting hurt. Mark Williams learned that the hard way because he came back from a back injury when he first got hurt his back. He played one game, he tweaked it, and now he's been out ever since. So we have to understand injuries to these players. We not them. Yeah, we should say, yo, go Melo, go out there. Your ankle gonna get better. You need to play. You a franchise player. We pay you this money. Mark Williams, you just started. You ain't show. Yeah, you a shot blocker. It's gonna be tough. Don't get me wrong. It's gonna be tough understanding that situation that we not these players. Because a back injury is nagging injury, just like a hamstring or anything. It's hard to determine how much pain somebody could tolerate. It determines how much an athlete could tolerate pain. I feel like Lamelo could play. I feel like Mark Williams could play. That's my opinion. But if I want them at 100%, I'm gonna ask for that. As a fan, I can't sit here and slave these players. Like, I could get accountability when accountability is there, and I said my statement earlier. I think Lamelo could play, but like I said, why would he play on meaningful games? That's not worth nothing if they ain't going nowhere. I feel like if they was winning more games and they close to playing the playing tournament, I think he will play. I think he'll come and play and do what he have to do for the most part. Same thing with Mark Williams. So I can understand why these guys are sitting on the bench and just chilling and pacing stuff. Because like I said, a lot of things gonna change this offseason. Steve Clifford is not gonna be the coach. I'd be serious doubt that they bring him back again. They're gonna look for a new coach. They're gonna still look for a new GM. So whoever the GM is gonna pick the coach. So we're gonna wait and see how that goes in the offseason for that. And these draft, what players we're gonna pick, what players we need. I mean, if we are top five draft, top five. If we get a top five pick, then I would determine who we gonna get out of there. I feel like we need a guy who could come in right now and produce. Straight like that. If we worry about the 24 draft, I need somebody to come out and produce. I need somebody to come out that's gonna help this team already build that we have to build up for. Because a lot of things this upcoming season, we gotta think about is who's gonna be the GM, who's possibly gonna be a new head coach. Are we gonna sign Miles Bridges? I mean, those things we're gonna be talking about throughout the rest of the season. But I feel like right now, being 4-10 in the last 10 games with the new players, it's actually great. In a short span of knowing, getting the chemistry down pat, that's pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, that is pretty good to say. To have those new players in those 10 games and produce the way they did, I'm impressed. I'm happy that we showed these guys talent, and I want to continue showing these guys talent until the season over in April. And right now, without LaMelo or Mark Williams, for the most part, we're gonna struggle against teams over 500. Just plain and simple. You're not having a guy like LaMelo who's averaging 1 point, who's averaging almost like 30 points a game in his span when he was playing. We're averaging like right now like 19, 20 points. Mark Williams, who's probably averaging close to a double double, blocking a couple of shots a game. You have your interior defender, he ain't there. So now you gotta ask yourself this, like, what's gonna be the situation for us as an organization to continue getting better, even as the season now, to continue getting better? You still gotta evaluate each player. You still gotta evaluate the players that was on the bench, because you already did that earlier in the season. T.J. Thor, Nick Smith, Omar Bailey. I didn't even see too much. Leaky Black. I see some, you know, some flares in him. McCowie, always a solid player coming off the bench. All-star. He's definitely showed he can stay longer. And now we got new bench players: Davis Bertram, Steph Curry, and so many others. So Me speak as a Hornets fan, we have to come to a realization that for us to get better, for us to get to another level, we gotta go to the process the right way. We can't rush. We can't just point fingers like, yeah, I feel like we could make way more noise this season if it wasn't for the injury. But now we got younger. Now we gotta see how these bench players work. Cause that's one thing was missing, a bench. We taking the Spurs rotation, doing like a 9-man rotation, and it been working. It been working to the par right now. To the most part, we've been doing what we have to do to understand what style of play we want to play with this new player. I like Trey Man. Trey Man has showed he could play point. He could play off the ball. He's just a versatile guard. I'm still waiting for him and LaMelo to play together. Even LaMelo and Meeches, I want to see how they play together because you got a ball dominant passer in Meeches, and you got a ball dominant scorer in LaMelo Ball who also could pass. I think Michi, who's an older player than LaMelo, who was MVP in the Euro League in his league when he was playing that, could talk to LaMelo and say and know how to pace the games and find your target, where you need it. Sometimes, yeah, the pass can be flashy and you got a vision, but just putting your teammate in the right position is always easier than doing athletic move, putting yourself in more risk to get injured and things like that. So I definitely want to say that for the most part because this live is basically just to familiarize people of what we currently doing for the most part, right? And if you are a content creator for the Hornets, you know we gotta show love to each other. Trust the buzz. Shout out to you. Everything Buzz City. Shout out to you. Lock in Hornet. Shout out to you. QC-T. Shout out to you. The Bus Boys. Shout out to you. Sam Dracula. Shout out to you. Like we got so many content creators. It's not even funny for the Hornets. I mean, people that actually care about the fan base knowing that this team haven't been so great in so many years. And we dying to go back to the playoffs since we had Al Jefferson, Campbell Walker, those days. It's tough, but I feel like the rest of the season we could see where these players head at, and we could build for the future. I believe we could build for the future. I believe we could build something great for this organization. I feel like we have the staff. We about to have the staff right now to get to the next level. We definitely need a new GM to figure things out. Hopefully, the GM could help find a new coach because I don't think Steve Clifford is the coach. And we take it to a whole nother level. We just need to understand where we have to start from and where the foundation is for this team. Because this team right now is staggering. We took out some players, some key players, and we got back some great role players. So now we just gotta see what we gotta do. We just gotta see how things go. We got Orlando in a couple of days. I think right now, hopefully, LaMelo should come back soon. He should be back like in mid-March. Same thing with Mark Williams. They should be back in mid-March for the most part. And we're gonna see how they gel with the starters. How LaMelo play alongside Michi. How LaMelo play alongside Trey Mann. And now with Grant Williams playing alongside Mark Williams. And we're gonna see how Nick Rich is coming back off the bench. It changed everything. The bench is gonna get better. It just naturally going to. So we gotta figure out how things go and how Steve Clifford can master or create a rotation that fits for the winning program. Like we're not gonna make it to the playoff, we're not gonna make it to the play-in tournament. So we gotta get that out of our mind. Not just me being a hopeless fan. I just gave up. We just look, we too far back. We way too far back. If I were to say out of those 10 games we won 9 out of 10, then I would have said yeah we can make a push. Yeah, we could push for the play-in tournament. But right now it's just not happening. Let's worry about getting better, get these new players implement fully, and let's see what we're gonna do for the next season. Because these guys, outside Grant Williams, who's guaranteed to play with us next year, contract-wise, are we gonna pick up Trey Man option? Are we gonna let Steph and Bertram leave and free agent? Are we might you know what I'm saying? It's evaluated players right now. We evaluate these players who we gonna have next year on our roster. All those 5 guys not gonna stay. I know that. I want 3 of them. In my person, I want Meach, I want Trey Mann, and I want Grant Williams. I want those 3, the main guys, to stay with us. Even if we have to make a trade or not, but I want those 3 to stay. I just need us to understand what are we gonna do for the future. How the future's gonna look. how things gonna look for the Hornets. Like I said, a lot of bright things are coming for us real soon, real soon. It just hope you guys can be patient. Hope you guys can be patient. Hope you guys can understand what we're doing as an organization. If you're a Charlotte fan, let me know. Like in the stream, let me know what you guys think. I need to know your opinion. Like, what do we should do? What GM should we get? What's your opinion? Like, do we need a new head coach? Do you want Steve Clifford? I don't think we need him. I don't think he's a coach right now compared to back then when we had a nice little structure in the Hornets. Back when we transferred from the Bobcats to the Hornets, I don't think we have that team no more. I don't think we have those dominant, you know, players that know their role exactly on that team. Everybody has a separate role. Right now, it's more, you go to LaMelo, you could go to Bridges, you could go to Mark, you go to several other players. So I just want us to know what direction are we going with when it comes to the Hornets. We'll go to various different places, different avenues with them, but I just need to know where are we going to go with the Hornets. We need a new head coach. We need to treat these players and let them know about how injury is key to failure in this league. If you injure all the time, you're not going to produce wins. You're not going to produce, you know, quality games because you always hurt. We was at least 50% hurt throughout the whole season. That's half the team getting hurt, including starters and key bench players. How are we gonna win games if we don't have if we don't have players on the team? So that's for me to see that as a fan is how we do these rotations. Now that we got a bench, and now getting LaMelo back and Mark Williams back in mid-March will show for at least the last maybe 15, 20 games that what could have happened if we did have a bench. Right now, we don't have a starter. We don't have two stars out. And don't get me wrong, Corey Martin is showing that he could play like his brother in Miami. Nick Richard could show that he could play starting center with the quality of minutes and everything because he got improved since the last couple of years. So it shows we have the quality players. We could win games. It shows. If you belong in this league, you're gonna show you're gonna belong in this league. I'm just thinking we missing our star player and a star defensive player. It's just the team's not gonna be the same. The team could adjust, but it's not gonna be the same. It's just not gonna be the same. And I want us to understand as an organization how are we gonna get to the next level if we always injured. Like everybody said, the next man step up. That's true. But if you don't have no experience and you're not supposed to put them in a situation for them to fail, how they gonna get better? You understand? How they gonna get better? By playing through diversity. And that's why I give to Steve Clifford. He put guys in situations that's not supposed to be there so early. But they're going to show them that you belong on this team. Because if you can't play for the Hornets, you're not really going to last long in the league. I'm not saying anything bad about us, but usually guys get rebuild careers playing with us and getting a big-ass contract going somewhere else, which I hate that so much sometimes. Because there's so many good players play for this team, and they gave us 50% of their work and they go win championship like Tyson Chandler, or they go somewhere else and compete for championship like Boris Diaw, or they come to us in the last days like a Tony Parker or others, Jason Richardson and things like that. Like I'm at this point, I want somebody to be here for their whole career and show that somebody care, like a Dale Curry, a Muggsy Bogues. Like I don't want us to keep training players like Alonzo Mourning, Larry Johnson, just let him go in free agent, just not give him play. Yeah, we got Glenn Robinson in return, and things like that. We did got players that play for like Baron Davis and so much, Damn it, we drafted Kobe Bryant. Let me just say that because we drafted Kobe Bryant. And we just let him go for Vonnie Diva because we had I think a star shooting guard at the time. I want to say Eddie Jones, but I just don't understand. Like you understand, we don't trust this organization enough. Not say they could fail anything. Right now we got new ownership. We need to be aggressive in the off season and get this team back going. We need a coach. We need to get a treatment plan for these players, and we gotta have like a good facility that pertain to these players getting injured. Like, cause they're not teaching them how to build a body up for an 82-game season. I just think they just tell them to last stamina one. They don't got no muscle in their legs. They got too much water in their back. If you know that expression, they're not doing good. They're getting injured for the little stuff. Oh, my ankle, oh, my hand, my butt hurts, my shoulder hurts. Like, yo, back in the 80s, these guys used to be on all types of drugs and all type of injuries and still playing 70, almost like what, 90% of the games. So you're telling me that we that have the most best technology in sports have right now, and we can't even get these players to be in a full capacity and prevent them from causing injuries? I don't want to hear that. I think we need to prioritize these players when it comes to building them up for a full season. 82 games, not 70, not 65, not 50 games, 82 games. We have one of the youngest team. You're telling me we can't have 75% of the players continue playing with 82 games a season if they're not getting the minutes or that? I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear that as a fan. I don't want to hear that as a diehard fan at that. We have talent on this team. Now, where they need, how they play them and how they use them in situations, that's not up to me. Of course, that's up to the coach and how they look at it. Steve Clifford, I love him when he was first come here, and when he left and came back, it ain't look too good. I'm gonna be honest, it ain't look too good. I think he needs to step away. Yes, he's the most winning head coach for the franchise. Cool, congratulations to him, but his time is up. We need a whole new coach, or at least a coach that has experience. Know that I will always say, let's get Mark Jackson back into the league and put him there. I think he'll change that culture around. I think he'll mentor LaMelo Ball. You need like that fatherly toughness where he got. Yes, he's a religious man and everything like that, but I think he'll get through LaMelo and those young players because that's a ball pass first type of guard and Mark Jackson who understand that point guard position, who understand to get his team in positions, teammates where they need to be at with a spot. Not saying LaMelo don't know how to do that yet, because I see him have flashy plays, vision that I'm like, where did he's passing it to? Like you didn't know who he was, and you like, wait a minute, whoa, he got that. But it's a level of how you get your team involved, how you put them in position to score easier. Jason Kidd was perfect like that. Mark Jackson will be the same way. I'm telling you, whoever's a coach for that team needs to understand what LaMelo's style game is for this to work. For this to work, for LaMelo to become a superstar, become an all-star, to become a premium superstar, you need a coach to guide this kid to something great. You need a coach who understands the game of basketball. LaMelo need a teacher. He don't need a coach just to tell him what to do, because he's probably 9 or 10 times he's going to do what he do best. I'm not saying he's a coach killer or anything like that. I think LaMelo understands how to play this game the way he needs to, but I think he needs somebody who he can relate to. He can't relate to Steve Clifford. He couldn't even relate to the last coach. I keep forgot his name. James Pogo. I don't think he can relate to him. You know what I'm saying? You need a coach who's to play in this league. Jason Kidd, if that don't work out, I think he should come over to the Hornets. Kenny Atkins pretty good. He might understand the game a little better. Mark Jackson, I'm going to keep saying that. And a few other coaches I have in mind, but those three will be my top list. If something will happen, Jason Kidd should come over. I think Jason Kidd and LaMelo will be fit perfect. I think that's the best coach for him at this point outside of Mark Jackson, someone who understands, who will listen compared to Luka Doncic, because Luka Doncic is just a scorer. He ain't going to really get too many teammates apart. Of course, he get them involved by passing the ball, fancy passes, all that. That don't win games. It just don't win games. Anybody could do that with a certain style to it for the most part. But right now, we at a half hour right now we in. Let's get the lights up, guys. Let's get the lights up, Let's get the awareness to this. Let's get the awareness to the Hornets. Get the lights up, Brandon Miller, first double-double of the season in his career. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 3 assists. The kid is a stud. His three-point shooting over, 35% from three, which is pretty solid for a rookie. He's understanding how to play his game. He's, playing more of a point forward. He's definitely showing that he's the second overall pick. Damn, it could be the first overall pick the way he's playing right now. In the last 15 games, he's averaging 21 points, 5 rebounds, and a couple assists. He's learning as the season going. He's learning the tempo of the season, and I like his development. I love his development. I'm loving it. I'm loving that he's confident in himself. I'm loving he's taking a certain role and becoming a point forward, and so he redirects the team. I love it that this guy's willing to learn. He's willing to take on roles just like anybody else on that team. Anybody else, even like the veteran. When he first started the season, he was coming off the bench. He was understanding his role. He's filling out. But when he had that breakout game, which was the second game against the Pistons, it was a lost game. But when he dunked over Isaiah Thomas, to me, that was his NBA moment. He had to show them that you're not gonna bully me around. You're not gonna just yell in my head all day. We're not gonna do that. When he went down that lane on a fast break and dunked over him, that was the moment. That was the moment that he came to the NBA like, listen, I belong with here. I belong with the big boys. You're not gonna play me. You're not gonna intimidate me. You're not gonna scare me. And that's what I like about Brandon Miller. He shows that he can hold his ground. He showed that he's not intimidated by nobody, and that's what I like about him. Miles Bridges is a toss up. What they gonna do with him in the offseason? They want him back, but do he wants to be back? But with the way it sound like, it's more of a financial agreement with both parties. Because any other team is not gonna pay him not even close to what the Hornets could play him. So that's why he was gonna veto any trade they was gonna do or anything. But they said behind the scene they promised him they're not gonna trade him or anything like that. So it looked like almost 90% that Miles Bridges is gonna come back the offseason if he wants to come back. But I feel like he do want to come back. I feel like a healthy Miles Bridges, if he wasn't suspended in the beginning of the season, would have changed everything. I think would have changed the first 10 games. Definitely would have changed the first 10 games if he was there. Having him healthy, LaMelo healthy, Mark Williams healthy, a new surge of scoring from Grant Williams will help. Trey Mann coming off the bench help. Corey Martin becoming a more of a scorer like when he was in Nevada. We have a team right now, on the rising. Right now, we're just dealing with some rough patches right now, very, very rough patches, and I think we need to understand that we got something going for ourselves. We got a lot of things going for ourselves for the most part. And I want everybody to understand who's watching this, who's Hornet fans and everything like that the future is bright. The future is very bright for us, and even if we get the first overall pick or the fifth overall pick, whoever comes to this organization is going to be proud to say they're a Hornet fan. They're proud to say they're a Hornet. I'm proud to say I'm a Hornets fan. As you can see, I'm down with this core. I'm good or bad. I'm going to take them. 100 grand, better or not, I'm going to take them. And I think people who's a Hornets fan need to just be patient, understand the season ain't over as of yet, in the sense that, we're not going to be in the playoff, but we just have to build for the future and see how we evaluate this talent going along for the most part. I think we just got to slow down and just see how we going to do this. I'm happy that a lot of guys stuck, was 10 toes down with us. Still, talk about the Hornets, because at some games it was bad. Even recently, we lost by like almost 40 points against the Bucks the first time, and then we came back and we lost. We still lost back-to-back games against them, but it was more of we adjusted from one game to another game. That's something I was kind of happy to see, that we just didn't give up. We wasn't intimidated. We did what we had to do. The defense got better. I mean, I expect that to happen because you got 5 new players who half of them wasn't getting quality minutes. Half of them wasn't even playing. So how you expect them to show their talent if they wasn't even playing? When they came to us, they were showing them like, yo, you guys made a mistake on us. Y'all didn't take us serious. And I'm glad we could showcase their talent in that sense, because Trey Mann needs to be recognized as he's a key player in this league, and he could do something with the skill set he's saying, being a 6'5" guy with a 6'8" wingspan, who is athletic, great passing ability, could get the rebound. Just somebody who's gonna be in your face all night and he's not gonna back down. I see that in him. And you got Meech, who's a 30-year-old rookie. Well, 30-year-old rookie. who was MVP in his league, shows that his passing ability is Vinovic's style. He can slow down the game. He can pick up the tempo. His fakes are so magician-like. He's just somebody you gotta watch out for. I don't know when it might having him come back, but it's a possibility. It may not. So I'm hoping we get him back. Then you got Grant Williams. It wasn't working out in the beginning with him and the Mav. For whatever reason, they gave him that contract, and he maybe wasn't prepared for the atmosphere. He wasn't prepared to be a starter so soon. Then he wasn't in Boston, and he was overwhelmed. And Dallas system did not fit what he was trying to do compared to what Hornets had for him. Coming back home, he's striving. He looked like he was in Boston, but a little better. And I think him coming off the bench for us and rotate, I think he needs to come off the bench. Not saying he can't produce, points and stuff like that, because he had 18, 13 rebounds, and 5 assists. So he could play as a starter and give you quality minutes, but I prefer him to do that off the bench. I think he's a quality six man. I think being with that team, he knows that. I think he knows that. But I don't want him to play power forward because it's going to be the same situation like him and PJ. We just traded an overweight PJ. You understand? He's just an overweight PJ. So for that, we just keep him on the bench. Whoever we drive or whoever we get free agent, we'll just replace the power forward. If you want to get a stretch four, fine, but let's get a stretch four that can stretch the floor. Grant Williams is a solid player. He's not a great three-pointer. He's a good three-pointer, but he's not a great three-pointer. If you want to stretch four, get somebody who's mainly at three, or you can get a power forward who can move like the guy from SAP. If that's his last name, I keep forgetting his last name. The French dude, get him as being the power forward. And you got Mark Williams playing the center. That's fine with me. The guy can stretch the floor. He could dribble for the guy who's 7'2". I mean, like I said, we got options coming this draft. We got options. So I just want people to know what we are capable of doing. I just need to know people know what we're capable of doing as an organization. We are going in the right direction. The right direction. It may not seem like it is, but behind the scenes, we're going in the right direction. We just gotta be patient, support this team to the fullest, and let's keep it going. Let's keep it going, Hornets, Charlotte. Let's keep it going. We right here. We ain't going nowhere right now. We ain't going nowhere. The fan base is still here. I'm gonna put out content and content, and everybody else I shout out is gonna put out good content as well. You're just gonna follow, support, and we're gonna do this bad thing. You understand? Charlotte's in good hands. We just going through some rough patches. If you're a Charlotte fan, you know what that means. You understand? You're gonna feel the sting. You're gonna feel the hornet's nest. I'm NC4 Corners for a reason. I just don't talk about the Hornets. I talk about everybody in North Carolina. I talk about the Panthers. I'm talking about Wake Forest, NC State, Duke, North Carolina Tar Heels, Davidson. The list go on and on. The Hurricane Carolinas. You understand? Do you understand? It go deeper than that with me. Especially me coming from New York. A young man coming from New York, being a fan for a team in North Carolina, it's unheard of. But I am who I am. And that's what people need to understand. I stand up with you guys. I understand the feeling how that city is a great state that produce great player, produce great team. Even though we have rough patches, that's a state that love their sports team, die hard, and that's something I'm gonna always respect and honor, no matter what I do and no matter what I talk about. Cause you gotta understand, I am a Hornets fan till I die. Nothing's gonna change that. I don't bagwag. I don't hear, oh, LeBron's going to this place and that. Nah, I don't care for none of that. We gonna stick to the rough patches. Oh, Stephen Curry's gonna come to the Hornets. He's gonna come back home. I don't care if he come back home. He'll never come back home. I'm gonna be here. I don't care if I'm a 9-year-old man. We win our first championship. I'll be happy. I'll be the same way. I'll go down to the parade and everything. Everybody get their time. Everybody's gonna give their time. For the most part, to show off. We getting there. We just need the right coach, and we can turn this league around. We could turn this shit. Excuse my language. We could turn this around. I'm telling you, we could turn this around. We could make something happen in this team. We just gotta be patient, We just gotta do what we gotta do. And I'm telling you, it's gonna happen. Guys, subscribe to my channel. Follow me on Instagram, NC4 Corners. Follow me on TikTok, NC4 Corners. Follow me on all platforms. Let me know what you guys think. You know, I just came up here to rant a little bit, talk about the first 10 games of these new players and, injury and stuff like that. I went on a little ramp and I had to voice my opinion about certain things. But like I said, I'm a Hornets fan. I'm Sting Nation. I'm going to be there no matter what. We just having a troubled time. So I'm going to be here. I'm still going to give you good content for the most part. And I'm going to do what I have to do. I'm going to say what I have to say. I ain't going to be biased. It's going to be straight from the mouth. Straight facts. With a little opinion, here and there. But I'm going to speak the truth. We're going to be great. I just want us to evaluate these players. See what we're going to do next year. And continue, striving for greatness. So, I'm about. Catch you guys on the rebound. Holla at you guys later. Deuces.